Welcome to another Reddit episode in the abyss. It's Jess.
And it's Des.
Yes, let's get into it with some more Reddit stories.
Yep. Hit us with it, Jess.
Okay, I'll kick us off with a semi-short one. It is from Am I the Asshole?
Okay.
Am I the asshole for getting high at my sister's wedding? Hi everyone, I'm using an anonymous account because people I know follow me. I'm 22 male and in the UK, by the way. I don't think this will affect the post, it's just for context. My sister, 31 female, has been planning her wedding for the past year. We're not very close and we've had a lot of issues in the past. So she was mainly inviting me just to be polite, I think. We've had issues because I've had a drug problem since I was about 15. And I used to make her pick me up from sketchy places in town when I was high, for example, and she saw me at some really low points in my life. She said that I could come if I promised I wouldn't get high. And even
Not a great
then,
start.
she really had to convince my brother-in-law to let me attend because he doesn't like me at all.
Yeah.
I had honestly been doing really good lately, and I hadn't gotten high in a few months. I made a really good plan with my sister, and I knew that if I wanted to get high that day that I could just tell her and she would get my parents or something. The thing is, on that day, I didn't know that my old friend would be there,
Oh, no.
and we were catching up for a while. Eventually, he offered me some Coke, and I felt bad if he did it alone.
No way.
I honestly wasn't thinking of my sister at all,
Yeah,
and I feel
obviously.
bad for getting wrapped up in the moment. But I was obviously high when I was talking to my brother-in-law, and he noticed and told me to leave because,
That was the exception.
quotes, I can't even follow through on one fucking promise.
Boom.
And he thinks I'm a really bad person for lying. I wasn't lying. I was genuinely trying. I told him this, but he wasn't listening to me, and he kept saying, like,
He's high.
okay, buddy, it's time to go. I don't think anyone noticed I left anyway, but in the morning, my parents told me that they weren't talking to me for the foreseeable future, that I really hurt my sister. Am I the asshole? My sister won't answer my calls either. I have genuinely really been trying, and I feel bad for throwing it away.
I'm gagged. Because, yeah, you're the fucking asshole. Are you kidding me? They asked you to do one thing, bro, and you couldn't not. And I get being an addict, but then you shouldn't have come if you
Yeah.
really didn't think you could stop yourself. You're doing good isn't I am sober.
Yeah.
That's I have been fighting the demons, and until someone offers me fucking their own drugs, I don't have any. That's what that tells me. That's so fucking stupid, dude. Why even ask? Some people ask
Yeah.
the internet for validation, and it's so sad because it's like, I hope they didn't get any. I hope nobody told them,
Yeah.
like, you're fine, dude. Why is she tripping? It's her
Yeah.
fucking wedding.
Yeah.
She's allowed to make whatever fucking rules. Like how some people are like, I don't want kids.
Yeah.
Don't bring your fucking
Yeah.
kids. Like, it's just a rule. Sorry. Some people get to have them at their
Yeah.
wedding. That's why you don't get to go.
Yes. And very short end to that. But I don't think my family should be cutting me off over a mistake. They haven't acknowledged that I've been sober the past few months too.
Ugh.
And I would have really appreciated some encouragement.
Go
And
to
that's it.
fucking, go to AA or what is it called? NA. Go to NA.
Yeah.
Because you'll find the fucking congratulations a month, congratulations 2 months of sobriety or whatever. But
Yeah.
for people who have to experience you not being sober and then you expect them to give you a fucking pat on the back the 1-2 months that you're fucking
yeah.
sober, you're fucking crazy. And that just like screams entitlement, and that like just that confirms for me you're a fucking drug addict, because only a drug addict would say some shit like that.
Yeah,
I
like-
don't think they should be like
Well, and then like, oh, my friend offered me Coke and I feel bad making them do
it alone. Like,
Okay, also, who's doing Coke at weddings?
admit it.
I'm
Just
like, who's
yeah,
doing Coke? Like,
exactly.
what the fuck?
The fuck, dude. Can't
Yeah.
even stay sober for somebody, your sister's wedding.
Yeah.
And I think they're looking for all the excuses they can. Like, to me, it just seems like she's inviting. You're her fucking brother. She probably wants you to be there.
Yeah.
I don't
And
care
like,
how estranged.
obviously, she wants him to be there enough that she's like, hey, I know you don't like my brother. He's my brother. Please let
Here's
him
the
come.
exception. Like, if
We're
he
gonna make it.
pleases.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they asked you to do one thing, and just like the fucking brother-in-law said, you can't even fucking do
Yeah,
that one
literally
thing.
get high right after.
Yes.
I'm like,
Tell him wait.
it's like, it's crazy because you've been sober for months and like just, which I mean, that is what addiction is. You're fine. And then someone shows you a drug and you fall
That's
off.
why you're not supposed to surround yourself with that stuff.
Yeah.
That's why addicts will always say, like, I can't be friends with any of my friends anymore, and I can't be around these people because I know that if I'm around them, I'm either going to have access or I'm going to do them with them or whatever. I have family members who have had struggled with that, like really, really strong drugs, and they lost everything. And then it's like, okay, well, I just have to stay away from all these people, or I can never, like, I can't get my mind right. Because other addicts aren't going to fucking help you be sober. They're addicts too. Like, somebody doing coke at a wedding, like you just said, who does that? Addicts. Addicts do that at a wedding. That's fucking psychotic. Like, when people get so blackout drunk at weddings, they're also addicts. They're also ruining the fucking wedding. They're also making it about themselves. It's all equal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Fuck you, OP. Fuck you,
yes,
Reddit
you are
writer. You're the asshole.
Yes.
I wish we had like a
A
gavel.
little gavel, yeah. Yeah.
So I guess I'll go on to my story.
Yeah.
It's a shorter one, but it was gross. So trigger warning. My brother was in love with me. My brother.
My God.
Did you see this one?
Yes.
Ugh. Okay.
Okay.
My brother killed himself on Monday. He had been struggling with his mental illness for a long time, but we thought he was doing better. He was on new meds and actively working around the house for his first time in a long time. Then my mom receives a text, quote, "I'm sorry, especially to Dad," end quote. And they heard the gunshot. I was asleep when it happened and was awoken by my mom crying, saying, "Oh my God, your brother shot himself. I think he's dead," and told me not to go outside or look out my window. When we were younger, my brother had SA'd me, so our relationship had become estranged. When I first told my mom what had happened, she asked if I could ever forgive him. I didn't have a response. We were all living apart for a few years until my mom got sick, and my husband and I moved back in to help. Then months later, my brother had a mental break and moved back in with my parents too. The living situation was never ideal, but we made it work. Today we picked up my brother's ashes. That's when my mom told me, "Your brother was in love with you. He came to me about it in 2013. So I was around 20, and at the time he was 22. It made my stomach turn. Is that why he abused me? How long did he feel that way? Did he still? My dad had found his notebook with his plans to take his life. He had a deadline of September 1st, which was days before my baby's due date. Is this all just a coincidence, or was there meaning behind it? I'll never know. So much is going to continue to haunt me." And that was off of True Off My Chest.
I did see that earlier.
That one, ugh, disgusting.
Yeah, I was like, that's just insane. And like the fact that like his mom knew.
About like at the time of the essay, they didn't say anything because they thought maybe this was normal. But as years went on, like a couple years later, they told their mother, and then that's when the mother said, "Do you think you could ever forgive him?"
Yeah.
Obviously they couldn't. And they didn't have an answer, so I think it's kind of one of those things where it like got brushed under the rug or something, and forgotten about by the other members of the family. I don't know if they ever talked to the dad about it, but I think what got me was the killing themselves right before their baby is supposed to be born.
Yeah,
because I feel like to make your deadline the same within the same few days as you know your sister's giving birth is too specific.
Yeah.
Unless there's some other significance about September 1st, then I'm not sure. But otherwise, it's almost like I wonder if they believe in reincarnation.
Oh my!
And they're trying to be reincarnated as a baby.
Oh my god!
Right? I mean, some people who are actually like really fucked up in the head would think something like that, and like I don't know. It doesn't say what he's diagnosed with either, but that story kind of gave me the chills a little bit because that's like real life family shit that you can't avoid, and like it happened and he's dead. Like she said, like there's so many questions she has now that she'll never get the answer to. He killed himself.
Yeah,
that's fucking crazy. Taking it to the grave.
That's weird. I'm left like perplexed.
It's fucking weird. Yeah, for sure. I don't know. Let us know. Drop a comment or something like that. if you think he was trying to reincarnate as the baby, or if you think like
something
it's
else,
like,
or if it
just
or
happened to be
was
connected.
it like something manipulative, like knew
Yeah.
it was gonna like mess her up.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder. Well, also, I wonder if he knew that the mother. Well, he did tell his own mom that he had a crush on his sister. He
Yeah.
clearly said that I was in love with her.
Yeah, well, how do you think the mom reacted to that? Do you think she's like supportive, or because I feel like she wasn't like, oh, that's not okay, like
Yeah, it doesn't seem like she was
Yeah.
like, that's weird. But it
Yeah.
seems like she was more like, oh, okay, well, let's not tell anybody. Let's keep it to yourself. Because
Yeah,
it seemed
yeah,
like she
yeah.
waited until he fucking died to
yeah,
tell
to
her sister.
let it out of the bag,
Which is
yeah.
like scary because like you lived with him, and you know, I listened to way too much true crime, and there's this one case of this brother. It was kind of like they lived in like a cabin-y type thing, but it was like back in the day when video cameras were kind of cool but super expensive. So there's only one, and he used to film everything or whatever, and the sister would sometimes like film herself or whatever. And then one day she found him because she like put secret cameras in her room because she felt like he was watching her in the bathroom and stuff. She saw him jacking off to the videos he recorded of her in the shower and like her in her bedroom because he was hiding the camera, and like then he was like watching it and like jerking
Oh
off.
my gosh.
And so he ended up killing everybody
That's crazy.
because they found out,
Yeah.
and she confronted him and was like, that's weird, you can't do that, and they took the camera away from him and everything, and then he ended up killing everybody.
Yeah.
And I just thought, like, when I don't know, hearing something like this, like, at least he, like, in a fucked up, twisted way, at least he killed himself and not anybody else for those
Yeah, yeah.
thoughts, you know? Because it could have went a different way.
Yeah.
And I wonder if, like, I don't know, I hope nobody has guilt. Like, I know the mother knew, but
Yeah.
what was telling anybody going to do anyway, I guess?
Yeah.
It wasn't going to stop him from killing. It's not like the sister was going to be like, oh, okay, I love him too. Like,
Yeah.
no, like, that's
No.
crazy.
That just made me think of someone wrote into I believe it was the Judgy's podcast talking about how like her brother had died, and when they were cleaning out his stuff, like she's going through his computer and found like a folder with her name on it.
No.
And there was a bunch of like
Naked.
pictures, naked pictures that like he had like somehow gotten off of her phone and stuff, and like her personal pictures that
That's
she had
horrible.
saved for other people and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And like just didn't even know what to do with that because
Yeah, he's dead.
Yeah.
That's so fucking traumatizing.
Yeah.
That's so fucking will fuck up your head for
Yeah,
sure. Like,
yeah.
you have to go to therapy after
Yeah.
some shit like this. For sure. I know there's like a case kind of separate, but not kind of related. But like, this one woman went missing and then was found dead. And then they were like, oh, it's the father-in-law. And it was because they had all these like, he was like taking videos of her when she would show up to the house and stuff, like to visit them because her husband is their son, and
Okay.
he would record her getting out of the car and like film her legs, like if she was wearing a skirt, like so she'd open her legs
creepy stuff.
and like under the table and stuff, and then you would hear him like if he was far away he'd be talking to himself and be like, yeah, she's so hot, she's so
oh my god,
she gets me going.
no.
It's so gross.
Oh
But
my
yeah, she ended up
gosh.
dying and they think it was him. I don't know if it was or not, but it seems pretty fucking creepy. I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because it's like one of those statistics where men will, and I don't want to say all men. It's obviously not all men.
Yeah.
And it's definitely not like excluding women, but it is more likely to be a man if it is sexually involved.
Mm-hmm.
If it has involves sex in any type of way or rejection, it's usually a dude who did it.
Yeah.
Just fucked up. But yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Wild.
your story, Jess.
Yes. So the next one I have is from the Two Hot Takes Reddit.
Okay.
It says, "Am I the asshole for not letting my psychopath little sister see my dog?" For context, I, 25 female, recently moved out of my parents' house. My sister, 13 female, has always stole my parents' attention, and in numerous occasions has proven to have psychopathic behaviors. For example, she has killed numerous family pets. My dad has always wanted to punish her, but my mom defended her, saying that she didn't know any better. Now, a year ago, I got my first pet. His name was Arlo. He was a golden retriever rescue dog. He lived with me while I searched for apartments. He was about 5 years old, but he was my best friend. I have never been the one to have the biggest friend group, so Arlo out every day was what got me out of bed every morning. One day, I arrived at my parents' house after work, but didn't hear Arlo's distinctive bark.
Mm-mm.
I thought the worst, so I ran to my room, where Arlo was shaking and whining in agony. My sister had arrived after school and wanted to use Arlo as a pony,
She broke his back.
ending in a broken spine. In summary, Arlo ended up being buried in our backyard a few hours later. Again, my mom didn't do anything, and she said, she's just a kid. Let her do what she wants.
No fucking way.
Mm-hmm.
We're raising serial killers.
A few days ago, my maternal aunt gifted me a Labrador puppy, which I named Buzz. I posted a story on my Instagram, but my family saw it and now my mom can't stop texting me that my sister wants to meet him. I told her that she won't be seeing him anytime soon. My mom didn't stop insisting, so I ended up blocking her. Yesterday, I woke up with my dog barking at my face. Turns out my mom had taken my sister out of school early so that she could meet my puppy. I didn't open the door. But a few minutes later, my sister grabbed her school lunch bag, banging on my window, almost breaking it.
Oh, fuck.
I told my mom to control her daughter,
Call the cops.
but she didn't respond and only stood there, watching the chaos unload. I had to call the cops to get them to go
Yeah.
away. My dog was terrified, and so was I. Am I the asshole?
Dude, no. She killed the fucking dog by jumping on its back. And your mother is too dumb of a bitch to fucking be like, stop. Stop. But you know what this reminds me of? I had family members who had bigger dogs.
Yes.
And by bigger dogs, I mean like, yeah, golden retriever, like full grown size
Yeah.
maybe. And like older. So they like usually are like, slower and whatever. But they had like young kids. And I remember like them jumping on the dog too, like while it's laying on the ground, like jumping on it and stuff, or like grabbing their ears. And I remember being like younger, but like not a child, like maybe my preteens, teenage years, and visiting them and being like worried that the dog was gonna bite them. And then I remember like I think my mom or my dad had said something like, "Oh, you guys aren't worried that like the dog's gonna snap or like hurt them?"
Yeah.
And they said, "No, we make sure that she knows she can't react to the kids." Like basically they hurt her or whatever in order to teach her not to react, but it's like she's gonna end up killed too if they don't fucking chill the fuck out.
Yeah.
And I don't know what happened to them. I don't know what happened to the dog or anything
Yeah.
like that. But it just like reminds me of that. Like some people genuinely think animals are just for like your fucking like they're toys or something. They're living creatures too, dude. And like when you said that the dog was shaking and stuff, I immediately knew.
Yeah.
That's the only type of pain that they get from a broken spine, dude.
Yeah.
That's breaking my heart. That poor dog was probably suffering so long before it died. And the mom's just like, let kids be kids. That's not a kid thing to do.
No, yeah. Okay, so I actually have a relative, a cousin, and she lives in Mexico. And when she was younger, probably, I want to say, I wasn't there when it happened, but maybe under 10, maybe 10 to 11, 12. I don't know. I can't like pinpoint it. But I guess that when I went to go visit, my dad was like, "Oh yeah, she's a little tear right now." I was like, "Oh yeah, is she?" And then she's like, "Yeah, one time they're like she has a lot of anger issues."
The kid?
Yes, my cousin. So it's my cousin, and then it's her older sister and her. And apparently for Christmas, my cousin had gotten a small puppy. And she got so mad at my cousin that she snapped the dog's neck. Like crack. Yeah. And like so they didn't have any pets for a while. And like got her like got her into like some therapy and stuff. But I mean she's grown up fine.
That's good.
But, yeah.
That's so fucked. I mean, like there's a Looney Tunes, I think it's a Looney Tunes character. I forget her name, but she's like a little girl. She's supposed to be a little girl who loves quote, loves her pets to death.
Okay.
Because she, like, will squeeze the fuck out of them until they can't breathe and then
Yeah.
they die or whatever. And it's, like, stuff like that where she's just, like, so, just too rough and nobody's telling her anything. And she just ends up killing all her pets. So all the animals are running from her all the time. But that's what that reminds me of. And I just think, like, I don't know. And that's it sucks. It sucks not being able to tell people what to do with their children sometimes, especially in those cases.
Yeah.
And especially, like, having to keep in mind that, like, it is not the child's fault necessarily, because, like, my instinct is I want to punt the fuck out of those children. Like,
yeah.
You say a fucking kid snapped a puppy's neck, and I'm like, lock her up. Like, throw away the key. We never want to see that girl again. But she's still a kid, and she just hasn't developed the empathy and no fucking compassion. Like, that's just how kids are. And it's not on them. It's about raising them to be better and keeping them out of those situations. So it's not even on the kids.
Yeah.
It's on the adults in the situation. But it just fucking, it's so rattling.
Yes.
Because you're teaching them, if they don't get help, if they don't get to know, like, this isn't okay, if they just keep being told this is what kids do, they're gonna think it's okay to kill animals. That's fucking crazy that this bitch snapped a dog's back, then had the audacity to demand to see a puppy. I would be afraid you'd fucking crush the dog too. You try to ride it as a pony.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that the mom has no respect.
Yeah. And I also just want to say that my laughs from my story were, like, uncomfortable laughs.
Yeah,
I
sure.
don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
Just to clarify.
Good, you clarify. We thought you were a psychopath.
Dude, they're like, I'm like that lady from that one episode we did.
Yeah. God, what a crazy person. Not you, the lady.
Yeah.
All right. I guess I'll go into my last story. It's longer. It's on the longer side. But, and it definitely has, it's not, like, super long. But anyway, I'm gonna get into it, I guess. It's titled, I overheard my girlfriend's family bad-mouthing me, and it actually led to the best I've ever felt in my life.
Okay.
Healthy amount of backstory first. I, 27 male, am the product of an affair between my mom, who had me at 20, and my married father, who was 47 when I was born. I lived with my mom with very infrequent visits from my dad until I was 9. My mother died, and I was court-ordered to live with my dad and stepmom. To say the years from 9 to 18 were bad would be an understatement. My stepmom refused to acknowledge my existence, so did his adult children. Holidays were rough. They would act like a nice family, and then I would enter the room and everything would change. Sometimes they would try to be nice, especially my stepmom, who would go through waves of realizing it wasn't my fault and then blaming me completely. It was honestly worse than just sticking to hating me. My dad was the only one who spoke to me, but even he didn't seem like he wanted me there. I think it's important to say here that I mostly ate junk food in my room to avoid the kitchen and living room, which has given me a lifelong weight issue. Not excusing my weight per se, just I am and was fat. When I was a junior in high school, I met Emily, fake name, also a junior. Emily motivated me, welcomed me into her life, and we dated until high school was over and then attended the same college. I would have never gone to college without Emily, and I attached myself to her in what I now see as a very unhealthy manner. During our sophomore year of college, Emily broke up with me. She hadn't done anything wrong and had every right to live her life, but it shattered me. Emily was my family in my eyes, the first person since my mom to care about me. I went into a deep depression. A month later, I saw her holding hands with another guy. I went home to end it all. I'll be honest, if my roommate hadn't decided to skip class, I'd probably not be here writing this, but I am, and he did. After spending 2 nights in the hospital, I went to pretty intense therapy and then began attending a support group, an activity I still participate in to this day, though in a different area. Through this support group, I met Monica, fake name, currently 25 female, 19 female when we met. Monica and I bonded over a love of film and TV. We met during my senior year, her sophomore year, and we binged the French New Wave, New German Cinema, Scorsese, and the best of Golden Age TV. The Sopranos, The Wire, pretty traditional college crap. It took me too long, but I finally asked her out, and we dated and still date to this day. Monica comes from a traditional family, parents together since her birth, 3 siblings, so 4 total, and the nice suburban house. She is the middle daughter. She loves her family, and let me tell you, the introduction to them was one of the most nervous I'd ever been, and the first meeting didn't go well. They were still reeling from Monica's meeting and her mental health issues, and didn't love that she had jumped into my arms so quickly. The word rebound guy was discussed by the older daughter and mom. They didn't try to hide it from me. Monica let me know that she loved her family, but loved me too. We kept dating, and eventually they came around. Once I graduated and got a good and stable job, they began to warm to me. Monica moved in with me when she graduated, and we've lived together for 3 years. I have wanted to get married and start a family, but Monica wants to wait until we're older to get married. Now, to the main event. Last Sunday, I headed over to Monica's parents' house for brunch. It's a whole family affair. I was coming from playing basketball with some friends, so we drove separately. I got there before Monica and just decided to go in, since I knew these people very well. When I entered, I could hear them talking in the kitchen. I wasn't sure who all was there, but at least it was the parents, the older and younger daughter. They were discussing Monica and me. I'm just going to paraphrase, but they essentially just felt like Monica was still in a phase and needed to start her life, and that I was holding her back. The most hurtful comment was the discussion of my appearance. The younger daughter was somewhat defending us and said she seems to really like me, but her mom said, and I think this is a direct quote, "What are you talking about? Look at him. Monica is so beautiful, and he's just not. He's overweight. He doesn't propose. She's just stuck, and I think it's time we discussed it with her." I was able to sneak out and get back to my car as I waited for Monica. Monica arrived, and she could tell had been crying. She got in my car and asked what was wrong. I should have probably held it in, but I just blurted out everything I had overheard. Monica looked furious. She told me to go head home, and she would be right behind me. I did what she said. She went into her house, and I don't know what she said, but I had texts from both her parents apologizing, saying they're just worried about their daughter. Monica was right behind me. She must have sped the entire way home. I crawled into bed, and people, I'll admit, had just like a full breakdown. Like snot coming out of my nose. Just lowest I'd ever felt since Emily dumped me. I felt completely unlovable. Monica comforted me during this whole thing, and a couple hours later I was able to communicate a little bit. I said, "If I'm holding you back, I'm sorry. You deserve better." Monica looked at me, and I honestly thought she was going to take me up on it, but she didn't. Instead, she berated me for letting others speak for her. I don't want to say everything she said because it was just for us, but to paraphrase, she said, "I loved her at her lowest. I've seen her in her uncompromising, completely vulnerable states, and loved her just as much then as she was at her best. That she loved me as I was, and I made her better every day. That she loves our little moments and big moments, and has known for a while that I'm her soulmate. No one has ever been this explicit with me before, maybe in intimate moments, but never like this. It felt amazing, and this week I have been walking on water." Monica has gone essentially no contact with her family. Apparently, she told them on Sunday during my episode that she will not be attending any more events unless they apologize to me in person and truly start accepting me as a member of the family. And that can only happen when I feel comfortable being around them. She's been very protective of me this week. She made me breakfast and packed a lunch. She's worn my favorite lingerie, and her mom isn't wrong. She's so beautiful. I love her, and I think we're going to be happy for life. If only 20-year-old me knew where I would end up, life gets better.
Wow. Aw.
Yeah.
Well, I'm glad it worked out.
Me too.
Bittersweet.
Yeah, I was like really upset. I felt like that, at least I thought it was nice that they were able to admit that how much it really hurt them and broke them down. I feel so bad for people who have like family members of like partners' family members that dislike you or go out of their way to like badmouth you.
Yes.
I mean, I don't think my partner's family does. I've never had any thoughts about that.
You haven't shown up early.
And then heard them talking shit about me. Thankfully, no. But also, they're just not those types of people. And I feel like types of people. So I think that like I'm just blessed in that way.
Yeah.
But there are people's families who will like never think that any partner for their child or whatever is ever going to be good enough for them. And like, that's just fucked up. Because whoever your fucking child chooses, whoever your family member chooses, should be good enough unless there's explicit reason to dislike them, like abuse or, you know, manipulation. Then what's the point of fucking thinking anything? Yeah. It's not your relationship.
Yeah, I'm like, and think what you want, just don't tell everyone.
Yeah. Fucking who cares? Exactly. Because it's not your relationship. At the end of the day, it's not. And like you thinking that he's holding her back or whatever is that seems like such an internal thing. Like, because how could your kid be held back? Like, I don't understand. They're adults. Like, what is being held back at? Like, what does that even mean at a certain point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a choice. She's making a choice every day to be with this person.
To be with him.
Yeah. So what the fuck's the problem? But I feel so bad that he had to be caught in the crossfire to hear some shit like that, because I think that is like it's just one of those things. Because I mean, her family has every right to talk about their own family. Yeah. Within their own confines. He just happened to hear it. Yeah. And that's fucked up. But like, you know, I mean, they were going to talk to their daughter about it. She could have like eventually like stomped that when it came to like, you know, but unfortunately.
And obviously he's very lightweight because they didn't hear him
coming in and stuff. No, but like, you know, and even if it's like, why do people pretend like fat people are like that in itself is something that's like not,
it's just a rebound.
Like what the fuck? Like that's so crazy. And to think that like that means he's not, like they say, oh, she's so beautiful and he's fat. Like
what is that?
What is the correlation?
Be, like, beautiful and fat.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like what the fuck? That makes zero sense. Yeah. So that was really stupid too. And I'm glad they apologized, I guess. But they said, we're sorry, we're just worried about our daughter. That still sounds like you don't.
Like fucked up.
Yeah, it still sounds kind of like, sorry you had to hear that. We just really don't like you. Like that's what it sounds like.
If you happen to hear something like that about yourself, not necessarily that, but just something like that, how do you think you would react? Would you go in there and be like, oh yeah, bitch?
Fuck you, but no.
Because you're so like bold.
No way. Why does everyone think that? I don't think so. I'm a scaredy cat sometimes. I'm not afraid of confrontation. I think that's why people think I'm so bold, is because I'm not necessarily afraid of confrontation. But that's when it meets me halfway. I'm not going to go out of my way for confrontation. However, if I happen to hear something like that, I feel like my heart would literally shatter. I think I would be so sad that I'm not considered like actually part of the family.
Yeah. Would you feel like your relationships that you have with them would be like completely different?
100%.
Yeah. Do you think you'd ever be able to like trust them?
I was going to say, I can think of an actual real life situation that happened to me with an ex-partner and their family member who was saying these crazy things to me while they were in what is it, inhibited, I don't know, they were drunk, inebriated, yes. Thank you. And they were saying all these crazy things, including like racist things to me. Let me get it. And it like made me feel scared and like, oh, this is how you felt about me this whole time. And then when they were sober, whatever, and they kind of came to, I guess they heard the things that they had said and stuff, they tried to apologize to me. And it was one of those things where I had no choice. I didn't necessarily forgive them, but I had no choice but to be okay with them being I mean, there's nothing I can do now. Like, you're part of the family, and I'm this addition to the family. And to me, it made me feel like there's no respect for me. Like, I'm not really a real family member. So, to me, I would like to say that I would want to say something. Like, I'd want to walk in there and be like, if this is how you guys have truly felt, like, I wish you would have said something earlier or something like that. But I don't think I could. I think I would just cry. And I think I would do the same thing. I'd probably go in my car and cry and wait for my partner, tell them what happened. Yeah. I probably definitely wouldn't feel comfortable going in there because I'm not going to be able to lie. That's for sure. Yeah. Like, I'm not going to be able to go in there and pretend I'm happy and I didn't hear anything. Because I'm going to be sad and I'm going to look like I'm sad and I'm going to cry. And I'm going to cry when they look at me. Yeah. And then I'm probably going to drop the words in there every now and then. Like, I don't know. I guess I'm just not good enough or whatever. Yeah. Like, I would say shit like that because to me, I don't know. But with the other thing is like there was no like in this situation with them being like you have to apologize to them in person and it has to be on their own terms, whatever, like that's all well and good. I just think for sure the dynamic changes. Yeah, you literally cannot look at them and not think of those things that they said. It feels like betrayal, bro. Yeah. So yeah, I didn't necessarily forgive that person for what they said to me, and I mean, all in all, I think they're a shitty person. So yeah, whatever. Hopefully karma gets them. I think like the projection is, I think it's also projection to be like, oh, you're not good enough for my kid. Like, are there, or you like think your kid's lacking something and like you can't accept that, you think it's everyone else's fault. You know what I mean? I don't know. But regardless, good for OP for having a partner that's very supportive though.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was awesome.
Yeah.
Good partner.
And I do think it's like, that's what we were talking, I think we've talked about it in other episodes, like not Reddit story episodes, but we've talked about like, it gets better.
Yeah.
And that's what this person learned, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
Okay. And I have one more.
All right.
It is from True Off My Chest. I'm leaving my boyfriend after he drunkenly confessed something to me last night. My boyfriend and I, both 29, have been together for 2 years now. Before that, we were both married and got cheated on by our spouses. We were introduced to each other through mutual friends and thought we would get along since we went through the same thing. I have told everyone us meeting that night was the greatest blessing because he came into my life at a very dark point in my life. In the past 2 years, we moved to a new town, started new jobs, and bought a house. I travel for work and he works 90 hours a week, so we both have no desire to have kids. A brother, 31 male, who has been with a woman since 2020. They were supposed to get married, but called it off in 2022. Then, they have been on and off together and really don't have a great relationship. That was until November when his girlfriend found out she was pregnant. And they decided to get serious. They bought a house together and have been going to couples therapy. Their relationship seems to be working out now since they had their baby. They decided to host a 4th of July party at their house. I attend with my boyfriend. I spent most of the night helping with the cooking and helping my brother's girlfriend set up and watching my niece. Like every 4th of July party, there's people getting way too drunk and starting to act up. Once mostly everyone had left, my boyfriend and me, brother and his girlfriend, and a couple of his friends were sitting by the fire and having a few drinks. My boyfriend had a few too many drinks.
Oh my God.
And was starting to act drunk. He started telling random stories, and after a few random stories, he says, brother's girlfriend's name. Remember when we used to hook up last year?
Ah, I knew it!
My brother's girlfriend looks at him in shock, then starts apologizing to me. I just sat there in silence before leaving. Immediately after, I got texts from his girlfriend, my boyfriend, and brother, all trying to fix things, saying that...
Why would the brother be trying to...
He didn't mean to tell me. His girlfriend texts me the story and says that they hooked up for a couple of months while I was working in another state and she was broken up with my brother. I haven't replied to anyone's texts, just spent the morning packing all my stuff from the house and leaving with my car.
That's his fucking kid.
And the truck I bought for him. I already feel so much happier knowing what he did to me now that he's gone. Well, that's it.
Is that his fucking kid? Why'd bring up the kid? I thought it was going to be his kid. I thought they were like fucking and it's like, oh, by the way, this is his kid because of the time and stuff like that.
No, I don't know.
Well, good for her to get the fuck out of there. Like, run for the hills, bitch.
Yeah.
That's fucking psychotic. Remember when we hook up in front of everybody? That's so embarrassing.
Like, he's so drunk. He felt so comfortable.
Like, saying you cheated in front of everybody, in front of her brother.
And that's why he didn't even think it was bad. He was like, oh my God, remember?
Like, fun times when I used to disrespect my girlfriend.
He was probably being hella nostalgic. And it was like, oh, it's cool. They were broken up. Forgot he wasn't. Yeah. He's like, remember when we used to hook up last year? And like forgot that he was in a relationship.
I think that screams how much he just doesn't respect her. And I'm glad she got out of there. Because that was
nuts. Like, what is it? Like, dodging a bullet.
Yeah, literally. Like, it's fucking sucks and it was embarrassing, but at least you know you can get the fuck out of there. I would be surprised if that was his kid, because I was like, I thought that's where it was going when it was like, oh yeah, and they're married, but they've been on and off, and then out of nowhere she gets pregnant. and they
Yeah.
weren't together when they fucked. Like, I don't know. It just seems like it would be his kid. I wish there was an update on there.
Yeah, I know. I'm reading through the comments. I don't see anything.
Is anyone else suggesting the same, that it's his baby?
The top comment is, it's so bizarre that they act like the accidental confession is the biggest issue rather than hooking up and cheating.
Yeah. He was just drunk. Like, what? Anyway, also, why is the brother jumping in? If you weren't with her, then it has nothing to do with you other than you should be protecting your sister who was cheated on.
Yeah, maybe I don't know if he was just texting to like text
We
like
weren't
come
together?
back or something.
I don't
I don't know. No, yeah, I don't see anything.
That's really crazy. I wonder if it's going to fuck up their marriage now, too. Because, yeah, they weren't together, but that's my sister's boyfriend you cheated on
Yeah.
my sister with. Like, that's disrespectful to her. Like, that's crazy.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. How would you, if you were OP, are you like, I'm out of here, getting out of Dodge? Or if you were the brother, I guess, are you also reconsidering everything? Or are you like, well,
Okay,
it's not my
if
relationship?
I'm OP, I'm definitely out. If I don't know. Guys are kind of weird and kind of dumb.
But I'm saying if it's you.
No, I know, but that's
So it's like
that's
your
what
sibling?
Me as a guy. Oh, I
No,
thought you
I'm
were
saying like
if I
it's
was
you.
the guy.
No, it's it's you and your siblings' partner cheated on them with one of your partners that you're currently with.
Yeah.
But you were not together at the time.
Yeah. Gosh. I feel like the loophole would be that we weren't together,
So you would think that like
but I don't think I would want to get back with someone who was also hooking up with
A
my
sibling.
sibling. Yeah.
yeah, I think that's really weird.
Personally, I'm like, I'm okay with like,
No.
no. I
Oh,
was going to say,
I guess they're not hooking up with your sibling, they're hooking up with your sibling's partner. That's the story.
wait, I thought I was
You're the brother. Your
Okay.
partner is sleeping with your sibling's partner, but you
Oh,
weren't
okay,
together.
okay, yeah.
Yeah, you weren't
Yeah, yeah.
together. I think what makes the question like complicated is that you weren't together at the time. The thing
Mhm.
that you need to be thinking of is, can you be with somebody who would cheat or be with somebody who's cheating on your sibling?
Yeah.
Does it matter if it was with your sibling or not? Like the fact that they would cheat.
Yeah, I don't know. And it depends. I don't know.
That's
It's
pretty
a
crazy.
whole lot complicated because they have a kid now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And is it his? I'd be asking for a paternity test. I know
Yeah.
that's for sure.
Yeah, that's wild.
That's sick. That's sick. Sick. Disgusting.
That's crazy. I don't know. I was going to say, because I'm okay with, like, if, like, and me and you have had this conversation off pod, but about, like, you know, if I would ever date, like, or if you would ever date someone that one of our other friends has dated.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. And it really depends on, I guess, your outlook on like what is betrayal and stuff like that.
Yeah,
because some people, that's all different.
For me, it boils down to like what happened and like how close you were, and like for
How
me,
much time?
it's a conversation. Like,
Sure.
like, hey, you're married with this guy, you have 2 kids, and you know I've been hanging out with your ex. Weird thing, we ran into each other at the store, and I don't know, we keep seeing each other, and like I kind of feel something, but I need to talk to you about it.
Sure. Do you think
How do you feel?
Yeah. Do you think you do that with all friends or only really, really close friends?
No, yeah, I feel like obviously if it's your friend and you care enough, because I feel like if they're not your friend, you're not gonna care.
Sure. Right.
Yeah,
Because it's not. It's not like.
I think it's something you definitely float by, and even if they're not in another relationship, it's just like I think it should be a conversation that should be had either way out of respect, just to like, and even if they're not okay with it, you just have to like say, well, like, you know what, I feel something really strong with this person and it didn't work out for you guys. Like,
I was gonna say, I guess it depends on. At that point, it depends on which relationship you value more.
yeah, and like if you really feel like this person's the love of your life, and you gotta tell your friend, you know what, like, I'm sorry, we can't be friends anymore because I think that this
I really want to pursue. Yeah, I'm really in.
I'm
this.
like, it didn't work out for you guys, but I feel like this is right for me. And like, who knows? Maybe if that was to happen to me, like, sure, you'd be upset and angry, but like, you know what? Maybe they are meant for each other. You know, like.
Yeah, and then eventually it's years and years and years. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're like, oh wow, I can't believe I used to date that loser. Yeah.
I think my thing is like, okay, my thing is it depends on the situation. It depends on how close I am, obviously, to the people that I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
My thing is like, I guess like my instant thought is, oh, we were all friends. Like if we were all friends while you were dating, I definitely just like would not want to date them. But like that's just me, and that's like my boundary thing is like I would think that's disrespectful because we were all friends like while we were dating. If you had met them on a separate occasion, if you had not known them because our relationship,
okay, so
then
what
it's
if they were
different.
friends before
us, and then we dated, and then we broke up.
Yeah,
there's nothing like they already knew each other even beforehand. It could have happened way before, and you know what I mean. I mean, it might make me question like, did they like each other during? But that's not on me anymore at that point. You know what I mean? Yeah. But like, I think would I be mad at my friend? I guess is the question. Yes. Yes, because if we were friends, but like if it was like completely separate from me, and I really don't even have contact with these people anymore. Yeah. The fuck does it matter?
Would you date someone that your friend, so let's say you're the friend trying to date the guy, and the friend's like, yeah, you have my blessing, I hope you guys the best, I wish you a happy life together, would you date the person?
Well, I guess they would have to,
and they don't have no negative baggage, they're a great person, it just didn't work out for them, maybe they dated for a few years, maybe
it's hard for me to say I want to say no though, because like immediately I want, like, is my instinct to say no because I wouldn't be able to see you as anything other than my friend's partner, like, or somebody who was my friend's partner. I've lived through situations while you guys were together that I will not be able to be in a relationship with you and not think about those situations if they ever happen to us. You know what I mean? If we get in a situation that reminds me of a situation y'all were in, I'm gonna be like, huh, like weird. And I don't think I could do that. I personally feel like it is betrayal to do that to your friends. But again, that is just my boundaries. So I think I would be mad at my friends for doing it. And like, I think that's like, you know, but that's because I wouldn't do that to my friends. Yeah. So for me, it's like, if I can't, then I don't want you to either. But that's the boundary I put on myself. So yeah. But yeah, I feel like you're obviously on a different trail for that one, I think, than me.
Yeah. Well, I have like a different friend that like me and my other friend would always have this conversation with. And like me and my other friend, some other friends in a polyamorous marriage, and my other friend is doing solo poly. But like, then we were asking, like, she was like, oh, would you ever, like, if I died and like you and my husband were like, whatever, it turns out you guys were like soulmates, everything's perfect, like you guys are meant to be, he makes you happy.
Well, if I'm dead,
would you ever be with him? And she's like, no.
Yeah.
Because it's your boyfriend.
Yeah, it was your husband. It was whatever.
And it's, always that strict.
Yeah.
And I was like, that's crazy. I'm like, even if it's the love of your life, if it's like the whole
world.
Well,
the thing is, I would never get to that point where I would know if that was the love of my life or not. Because I would never even put myself in that situation.
What if they were dead? What if your friend was dead?
But that's what I'm saying. Like, I think even in the dead situation, just like this friend of yours, I couldn't even see myself pursuing it even long enough, or the thought long enough to even think that this person could be the love of my life.
Happened like years later, and you guys. So actually,
like we run into the meet cute.
So I had a client that I did this weekend, and she was telling me about her husband. I was like, oh yeah, how did you meet your husband? Her husband, because she has a husband that died from cancer, whatever, so many years ago. Her husband, now, his wife died of cancer a few days after her husband, and they were all friends, like through like young adulthood to whatever, and they happened to die at the same time.
So they went through the same grieving.
Over time, they ended up dating and getting together.
That feels like way too much time together is a thing. That's because you're grieving together, so you feel like you're losing something at the same time, and then you feel like, oh, you're finding something at the same time. That's just all like mental shit that I feel like it's honestly easy to trick yourself into thinking you guys are soulmates, or we're supposed to be together, or we're in love, because it's all you guys have.
I mean, she didn't say that, but like, and
I
they
know.
didn't get together like right away. It happened
Yeah.
like years later.
Yeah, I just like, my thought is like, have you seen How I Met Your Mother?
No.
Okay, well, it's a show about a guy Ted, who is hanging out with his friends or whatever, and it's him retelling all these stories about them hanging out and like him meeting women, and then it's like called How I Met Your Mother because you're supposed to be the children he's talking to, his child, and he's basically it almost feels like every episode's gonna be how he met your mom, and so you're like gonna find out who she is, but then it's not, and then it is, and then it's not, and you know what I mean, and stuff like that.
Okay.
And there's this one girl on the show who's one of his best friends. It's a married couple, a woman who's single, a man who's single, and then another man who's single. That one single woman and him have this on and off relationship where they like each other, then they don't like each other, they date, they don't date, whatever, through all this time. At the end of the fucking show, which is notably one of the worst endings of any TV series, if you ask any How I Met Your Mother fans, they all hate the ending, is because he goes from finally telling you how he met the mother of the children he's talking to. She dies of cancer, and then he's basically asking permission to date that girl because, oh, we've known each other for all this time, and we've been on and off for all this time, and like, I think I love her, so she's been here for me through your mother's death, and I want to be with her. And everyone's like, this is the worst ending on any TV show I've ever seen in my life. That's what it would feel like in real life, I feel like. Because, like, I'm dead, but, like, okay, fucking mourn me, bitches, and, like, don't fucking, like, fuck on my gravestone. Like, what's going on? That's what it would feel like. I don't know. But that's just because, like, I'm such a serial monogamist. I feel like it's more likely serial monogamists are going to be like, no, don't date the person that I was with, even if we're not together. Just because, like, I feel like that whole tied to, because there's definitely exes that I don't give a fuck who they're dating. Yeah. I genuinely don't care. Unless they abuse the fuck out of me and you knew it and then you dated them, like, that's a different thing. But I don't care who they date. But, like, the ones that I was, like, dead ass serious with, like, thought this was it. If my friend was to be like, sorry, we just got to know each other, I'd be like, why? Like, what made you? What compelled you? Why did you think that was okay to do? I would be upset, I think. Yeah. You know? If it was my partner now, and even a few years from now, if we had broken up or something, and I was dating somebody else, and then my friend was like, I ran into him at the grocery store, and I think he's hot, and I like him, I'd be like, you're a bitch. Like, what the fuck? Yeah. But that's just me. That's just me. And I respect everybody for having their different boundaries.
Would you care if it was a guy or a girl?
Like, who's hitting on my partner?
Yeah, like, what if it's like, your partner's now gay, or maybe they are gay,
and then
or
this guy was like,
and then he's like, "Hey, sis."
Right, he's like,
guess I ran into
your ex or whatever, and
he said he wants the date.
He's down. Yeah. No, I don't think it matters. I'd still be upset.
Okay, good. I was just making sure.
I would still be upset. I'd be like, what the fuck? What's your problem telling me this too? Yeah. Like, that's another thing, because I think I told you this offline. I was like, man, I guess if I never find out about it, then I guess it's okay. But if I happen to catch a whiff and you guys didn't tell me, I'm going to be even more mad than if you had told me. Yeah. So, I don't know. It's complicated. And maybe, you know, and I'm not in those situations. So, I don't know for sure.
And they're all just crazy hypotheticals. Because, like, I mean, I guess the question's always brought up because, like, even though the world is so vast, where people live is small.
Yeah. I mean, the town we live in, the works, like, because if we're always doomed to work in the area that we're working in for so much of our life, then it's like, I mean, those are the only people you're really going to see.
No, yeah. And it's like, sometimes, like, you think the world is so big, but then, like, I've ran into people, like, in fucking Mexico from here, and I'm like, the fuck are you, like, what? Okay. The Sims.
Yeah, exactly. Sometimes, like, people just run in, like, people are connected in small ways, and they'll always be near each other, which is really crazy. That's why they say people in your dreams are like people you've seen before. Yeah. You just don't know. Which is really crazy. But anyway. Yeah. So, if I'm dead, don't date my partner. He's supposed to be alone forever. If I die.
He goes to, like, get in contact with you, and then the, like, lady's like, oh, she says to go on a date with me? what?
Things start flying off the shelf.
Hitting her in the head.
She's like, never mind.
Oh, sorry, that was from someone else.
But yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But yeah.
Just kidding.
Kind of.
Well, damn. Okay, that was some crazy stories.
Yeah, another Reddit. Thank you for joining us on the Reddits today.
Yeah, in the Reddit abyss.
In the Reddit abyss.
Yeah. We hope you have a great day
Good evening.
and good night.
Bye.